Hiya! Welcome! This is Records Roundup number 87, and I would like to start off with an apology, maybe even a couple of apologies really. The main one is that the last Records Roundup, edition number 86, it was way too long in hindsight, even after a lot of editing, what with the amount of records that I was showing that I'd picked up over that period of time, plus the various music clips that I'd been using. The whole thing weighed in at just under an hour, and that is too long really for a video of mine. I like watching other people's long form videos if I've got the time to do that, but I understand a lot of people don't. I really should have split that into two parts or just done it earlier, and then I would have had more to show in this particular video. But hindsight is 2020 and all that. But if you did watch Records Roundup 86 and you watched it till the end, then I thank you very much for that. It's really appreciated. And if you didn't, because you saw the time and you saw it said 59 minutes something, and you thought, no, I'm not going to sit listening to that old bore for that long, then I understand that as well. This one will be a lot shorter. There's much less to show you today, and going forward I'm going to try and do these where I'm not showing too much at once. There could be exceptions. If I had a month where I bought quite a lot, then I will endeavour to show everything, but you know, I'll still try and keep things as nippy as possible and not get to that kind of video length. And also another apology regarding Records Roundup 86. I kept referring to it as Records Roundup 85 throughout that video, even though it obviously wasn't. I'd already done 85 previous to that. I'm sure nobody else even noticed apart from me, but it annoyed me when I was editing it back and watching it back, and I keep getting the episode number wrong. So that one was 86, this one's definitely 87. Enough waffle now. Let's get on and show you what I've picked up since the last one. Starting with a 7-inch single from Discogs Marketplace. This was one that I've had my eye on for a few months now, and it's for my Pet Shop Boys collection. They are a credited act on this, even though it's not their single technically. They produced it and they get like equal billing almost with the artist. But I'm talking about this 7-inch from Sam Taylor Wood, I'm in Love with a German Film Star. This is a cover version by Ms. Taylor Wood there of, and it'll say on screen, one-hit wonder sort of pop punk song from the early 80s from an act whose name I can't remember, but you'll see it on screen. This came out, there again, that says on screen as well, but I'm just seeing if I could see the date here myself. No, but it's going to be there somewhere. Just a 2-track 7-inch here, the original radio edit, which is the Pet Shop Boys produced version. As you can see, they get pretty much equal billing, so it is kind of like a Pet Shop Boys single, one that isn't on any album that I know of, or any album in my collection certainly. And side B is the Rundfunk mix by Mark Reeder. Mark Reeder is a British producer based in Germany who used to be in Shark Vegas. I've spoke about him a little bit on previous New Order collection update videos. Just black vinyl, as it's already opened and pre-owned, I will show you. It is also individually numbered. There are only 500 copies of this. Mine is number 176, according to the little circle there. Looks like a sticker, but it's not. That is printed on, but the number looks handwritten. I would have preferred the 12-inch for this. I don't collect all Pet Shop Boys singles. It's a rabbit hole that I could easily go down, but there's just way too many of them after all the New Order and Joy Division collecting I've been doing over the past year plus. I mean, really, New Order and Joy Division, I've been collecting them for 30 odd years, but when I really ramped it up last year, I don't really want to do the same to Pet Shop Boys, even though it does tempt me, because I used to own a lot of their singles on CD before I sold almost all of my CD collection in the early 2000s. But sort of standalone releases like this, I do like to try and pick up. Similarly, I got the 12-inch for absolutely fabulous a couple of months or so back. I would have preferred the 12-inch version because there's a couple more mixers on it, but that was very expensive from Discogs, and also there might have been one eBay seller, and it was just too much money to get it imported from Germany. Seems to be the place where most of these are for sale. This one was from a UK seller, and you can kind of tell that with the HMV price sticker there. Sam Taylor Wood, mainly famous as a film producer, director, and sort of photographer slash visual artist. I think this is her only kind of release credited mainly to her in the music realm. She has collaborated with Pet Shop Boys before on other things, but this is the only single that came out from her. So that is I'm in Love with a German film star. I do want to stick with Pet Shop Boys to an extent though, as we move over to a couple of purchases from HHV over in Germany. Now this was something that I saw it promoted on Pet Shop Boys Instagram about 2-3 months ago. I looked for it at a couple of places, didn't find it, but then when I was doing a general search for Pet Shop Boys at HHV, it came up. The price was reasonable enough. It's not a Pet Shop Boys single, but they do provide a remix on it, so I thought I'll get it for the PSB collection. It's a little bit tenuous, but I want it, so I'll get it. It's a 12-inch from the Hidden Cameras, How Do You Love? Now, I'd never heard of the Hidden Cameras, and PSB were promoting this on their Instagram because of their remix that they provide. That's track 1 on side B. There's also remixes from Hydrogeness and Boys Shorts. The Hidden Cameras, they're a Canadian indie pop band. I think it's mainly one guy, and he works with kind of a rotating cast of supplementary musicians. I'm not too sure, and I think he or they are based in Berlin as well, or somewhere in Germany, but they are a Canadian act. I think this is just black vinyl, so I'm not going to get this unsealed for you today. From what I've heard of the track, the Pet Shop Boys version, and I think I've heard a bit of the normal version as well, it's pretty decent. I just thought it'd be an interesting addition to the PSB and adjacent collection. Hidden Cameras, How Do You Love?
Will you be free if you don't please? What should I write if you don't reply? All I would like is to be on your mind. Why do you lie in my arms tonight? Feel low. How do you see?
I made a second purchase along with Hidden Cameras 12-inch at HHV, and it was another Gigi D'Agostino kind of album, although it's credited as a triple EP actually. that I didn't have. Juno is the place I like to go for Gigi, really, as they seem to get any of his vinyl reissues in stock at some point. But they didn't have this. They may have had it in the past and I just missed out on it. But HHV had a copy, and it is Gin Lemon EP. Gin Lemon's a fantastic song. I don't think I've got that track or any mix of it on any other Gigi album, and it surprises me. I could be wrong, because I have got like a quadruple album of his. In fact, there's a couple that are quadruples. One I showed in the last records roundup. I know Gin Lemon definitely isn't on that. It might be on the other one that I'm thinking of. But regardless, this has got a lot of stuff on it to say it's not really classed as an album. Not only has it got Gin Lemon and Gin Tonic, which I presume is some sort of remix of Gin Lemon, but it's got a lot of other tracks as well, none of which I think I own on any other Gigi release. I do like to be complete on him regarding albums that are out on vinyl. I know there's still some compilations and DJ mixes that he's put out on CD that hopefully ZYX will get round to reissuing on vinyl, because I only collect him on vinyl. It is limited coloured vinyl. I'm just having a look, see how easy this might be to show you while I'm standing up here. Yeah, go on then. I'll try and show you each disc. I'm making a real meal of saying, oh, I can't show you because I'm standing up here. I've not got much space and there's not really anything to support me. You know, things are kind of all precarious while I film in this position. Incidentally, I might have to start filming future records roundups just sat down in my chair, which I film a lot of videos there anyway, so it's not going to make a massive amount of difference really to the visual aesthetic of this channel. But there's a reason for me probably, I don't know for certain yet, but probably having to switch positions for this series in future. But it's not happened yet, and I don't really want to talk about it until things have changed here. So watch this space, in other words. Anyway, I might as well just take all this cellophane off here, as there's no hype sticker to conserve. That limited coloured vinyl stamp there is indeed, well, it's not even a stamp, it's just printed onto the sleeve. So a triple album, but it's classed as an EP. Disc 1, red vinyl. Now this is where I struggle getting things back in. In fact, I might even leave stuff out actually, just sort it all out after I finish filming. Disc 2, which is going to be the one in the middle of the kind of double gatefold here. I'm regretting this already. Disc 2 is yellow, so really nice and colourful. I think all of the Gigi vinyl reissues I've got so far are on black vinyl, so it's nice to get some coloured vinyl. I think because this is classed as an EP, it gets reissued on colour records, as he's had a lot of 12-inch singles reissued, and that is a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. I just want to get like the albums or the extended EPs really, because there's so many 12-inch reissues of his singles as well, but they all seem to get released on coloured vinyl or picture disc, so that's probably why this is coloured as well. And there we have sort of a vaguely transparent green for disc 3. So I'm going to sort all those out later, as no doubt if I start faffing around with double gatefold sleeves up here, I'm going to end up knocking my microphone wire and my phone and light and God knows what else. But that is Gin Lemon EP from Mr. Gigi D'Agostino.
Is
to Discogs for a couple of purchases, both of which are quite expensive. This one, I can't remember how much it was. It was from an international seller somewhere in Europe. I'm trying to remember, and I think it was probably either Germany or the Netherlands. It makes sense if it was the Netherlands because it is a Dutch band. It is Within Temptation and their acoustic night at the theatre. So this was one of the 2 remaining Within Temptation live albums on vinyl that I need for the collection. The other one, Black Symphony, still remains massively expensive. I'm hoping Music on Vinyl will put out a reissue at some point in the near future. This one, even with postage and taxes from wherever it was, probably not much change out of £50, which is a little more than what I really want to pay. It is only a single album as well. It is limited to 5,000 copies and it is on coloured vinyl, so we'll get that out in a moment. My number is 1143, somewhere down there. Right, let's have a little butcher's at this. My favourite things in the world, Music on Vinyl's adhesive protective sleeves. It is gatefold, so that's very nice. The lovely Sharon Den Adel there. One of the most beautiful women in heavy metal music, I would say. Not that that's really a difficult award to win, but well, no, that's a bit unfair. I've noticed lots of babes over the years in the hard rock and metal scenes, and now I'm sounding rather like a boomer and a little bit misogynistic, so I'm going to shut up. Alright, the disc. Yeah, it really doesn't look very good, me sort of holding it up and looking at it from this way on, but it looks a bit better on camera actually. It's classed as red and black marbled, looking sort of like a treacly, caramelly brown really on camera, but I'm sure you can tell that this isn't actually black vinyl. Yeah, you can see some black marbling in there, and the red is a very, very dark red, no doubt due in part to the black marbling also within it. Of course, it's kind of self-explanatory. This was a live concert at some point in the late 2000s, I think, where it was an acoustic gig from Within Temptation, but they are orchestra backed as well. Black Symphony, the one that's kind of becoming a bit of a grail of mine now, that one will sort of be in a similar vein, but it won't be acoustic really, but it will obviously be very heavily orchestrated, even more than normal. And Within Temptation, of course, are a symphonic metal group. That is an acoustic night at the theatre.
I know I better stop trying. You know that there's no denying. I won't show mercy on you now.
I know I should stop believing. I know there's no retrieving. It's over now. What have you done? What have you done now? I've been waiting for someone like you, but now you are slipping away. Oh, why does fate make us suffer? There's a curse between us, Timmy and
Also from Discogs, this is something that I've been wanting to pick up for ages. This has been sort of a mini grail for me, and it also completes a collection as well. I've been looking at this for a couple of years and more now really, and I just refuse to pay the price, but I just worry that it's gonna get more rare, more difficult to get. It was deleted many years ago, and it's the one album I needed to complete their collection, and it is the self-titled album from In Spiral Carpets. So I got this from a seller in Italy. I do remember which country I got this from. Came out in, what was it, 2004? No, 2014. I was 10 years off, whole decade. It's been the only In Spiral Carpet studio album released since Tom Hingley left and was replaced by the original singer, whose name I'm forgetting, Stephen Holt, that's it. Pre-loved, as you can no doubt tell. I won't bother showing you the vinyl, but as you can see there is like an insert in here. I think widely available on CD, but it's never had a reissue on vinyl since it came out. And it just remained a big hole in my Spirals collection because I've got all their studio albums reissued and their most recent compilation album on vinyl as well. So I'm so happy that I've finally managed to get this one at quite a considerable amount of money, but I felt I needed to pull the trigger on it at some point. I'd put it off for so long. In Spiral Carpets and In Spiral Carpets.
Something's gotta give, I've gotta keep on moving. I'm struggling to be heard, but my time is calling. I want you to know that my time is calling. There's gonna be no doubt, I'll make it loud and clear. I'm gonna scream and shout the words you gotta hear. You're so good for me. You're so good for me. You're so good for me. You're so good for me.
On now to a couple of pickups from Orchard Records. I think I got something from them for the New Order / Joy Division collection, and I'm blanking on exactly what that was now, but if you go back to, I think, probably the last New Order Joy Division collection update, then you'd see what that was. But these are a couple more for my Yellow collection. Now, I do have a full Yellow studio albums discography now, have done ever since Touch Yellow was reissued a few months ago, but I've been upgrading my original copies, and I did explain more about this in the last records roundup, to reissue copies. What I'm doing with the originals, I did sell a couple, but any more now from these ones onwards I'm putting aside, and I'll send out as VCLT to anyone who may show an interest, or anyone who might not, really. But Yellow are great, and I highly recommend anyone getting into them, whether I send them any albums or not, really. I just like getting these reissues, and particularly these ones here, such as Solid Pleasure, because this is another that's bundled with the bonus 12-inch single. This is their debut album. The bundled single is IT Splash. It says coloured vinyl. It might say on screen what colour that is. I'm not going to get this open, as these are a bit of a faff, really, to try and keep together, as it's basically just two records shrink wrapped into one, really. And we have seen some coloured vinyl here today anyway, so just to keep this video moving along, that's all you'll see. So, Solid Pleasure, and also from Orchard was a Music on Vinyl reissue of Flag. I got Stella, the album that came, that was I think 2 before this one, as a Music on Vinyl reissue from the company themselves in Records Roundup 86. So I don't really mind what kind of reissue I get, really. The ones that have a bonus 12-inch are better, but the downside is they're more expensive generally. They seem to start around the kind of £40-odd mark. Solid Pleasure there was an exception. I don't really want to pay more than about 30 tops for Yellow reissues, as I already own the albums as original pressings anyway. But that I think was under 30, and so was this one. So I was happy to get these two from Orchard. Flag has got The Race on it, which was their big single, I think their only UK top 10 single, and it's got my favourite Yellow song of all time on it. Hopefully I'll be able to play you a bit of that in a moment. Of course, I'm Lying, fantastic single, that one of my favourite singles, not just by Yellow, but by anyone from the 1980s. I really love that song. happy to get that. It's standard black vinyl. It's just kind of like a vanilla, if you will, music on vinyl reissue, but happy that I've got it. And of course I've now got spare copies of Solid Pleasure and Flag, so if you are interested, and I did say this in the last video, but if you do think that you might want to give Yellow a try, then let me know somehow, and I'll get a couple of albums off to you.
Her name is Julie. When she took me on a ride in her old Chevrolet, straight into a dusty sundown, I knew she was gonna make up one of her stars. But then she couldn't believe it when I told her how much I love her lies and how much I love her games.
Riding on the highway, knowing much too far. Your life's so much better when you drive a car. You lie till the sundown, so look into my face. You lie, I love it. You lie, I love it. You lie, I love it. You lie.
And finally, look how well we're doing for time compared to the last one. This one is a new release. It came out technically yesterday. I'm recording this on a Saturday, so this has come a day late, but that doesn't matter at all. It's come from Last Night from Glasgow, and this was an album I did want it. As soon as it was announced, I felt, yes, that will fit my collection for this artist, even though it's an artist I only collect certain works of. I'm a part of Last Night from Glasgow's email mailing list, and they sent 30% off code. It said 30% off anything in stock, and I thought that probably won't include pre-orders, will it? But it did. So I got this for, it was quite a bit under £30, which was a good price for a pre-order for a new album. Let's get it open and I'll show you. Certainly worth being on Last Night from Glasgow's mailing list, because they do from considerable time to time send out vouchers and codes and things like that. So this isn't the first discounted item I've ever got from there. But this is Veronica Electronica by Madonna. That's the one thing I don't like about Last Night from Glasgow. They put these great big invoice stickers on the front, which wouldn't be so bad if there was no hype sticker also, so you could just rip off the cellophane. But as it's covering sort of Madonna's nose and a bit of the mouth and one of her eyes, I might try and remove that. It's not the end of the world if I can't. So Veronica Electronica is a long kind of lost album in the Madonna chronology. It's basically a remix album, a companion to Ray of Light from 1998, and it had long been rumoured that it might eventually get released, and finally it has. This one is on silver vinyl, so we'll get it out in a sec. It's a single album there. Now Madonna, you won't see me show any Madonna on this channel in an awful long time, because I've only collected her 1980s, 1990s, and also music from 2000s. That's the only studio albums of hers I've got. Occasionally I think, especially when I see that she's in sales and stuff, I think, shall I get some more from the 2000s, you know, American Life, Confessions on a Dance Floor, etc. And you never know. I like Madonna, I consider myself a fan, but I really consider myself a fan of her from the 80s and 90s. What she does in the modern era doesn't really interest me. But this is technically an album that really was made in 1998, never got released until now, 2025. Let's get it open. Ray of Light, great album. I did do a Madonna 80s and 90s albums ranking, some years ago, couple at least. And I think Ray of Light, it was high. I know that because I really like the album. Probably number 3, maybe, something like that. That'll be in my music charts and rankings playlist anyway, if you want to go and see where exactly that got in my own particular ranking. But obviously, you hardcore Match fans out there, bear in mind that there's nothing after, I think, Ray of Light. That'll be the newest album of hers that I ranked in that. Even Music from 2000, which I do own, I didn't include because it's from the 2000s. Struggling here. There's your inner. It's quite glossy actually. I don't know how well that's coming across. Actually, it's probably come across quite well on camera because of the light shining on it. And silver vinyl. Oh, now it's like a marbled silver. I don't think you can see the marbling too well, but me standing behind it, it's like a real sort of smoky effect. Just turning it round, and no, you can't really see that. Maybe in editing it'll show up a bit more. Yeah, it's nice that it kind of looks different to how it looks at two separate angles. So really looking forward to listening to Veronica Electronica, the long forgotten, although if you're a hardcore Madonna fan, you never forgot it. And I think some remixes have leaked out over the years, but this is now an official release, not a bootleg. It's a proper remix album in the Madonna canon, and with it being a 1990s produced work, then it's one I wanted for my own collection. So can't wait to listen to that.
Needing, all at once comes the silence, begging, pleading, no more emotional violence, the withdrawal into pain, the resolve to never need again. Is this love? I think not. I want out. This love affair is over. Gone, gone, gone. This love affair is over. Gone, gone, gone. It's so sad. What we had is gone, gone, gone.
And there we go, that is Records Roundup number 87. Having to think to myself a little bit, am I getting the number wrong again, like I kept doing last time, and it really annoyed me. No one else will have noticed, I know that, but I do notice these things because I kind of pride myself on trying to get things right and not make too many errors. Obviously, I don't succeed very often. This one has been, hopefully, once I've edited it down some more, at least half the length of what the last one was. And thank you all if you stuck with me today. Special thanks go to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now, start listening to all this good stuff from the likes of Sam Taylor Wood and Pet Shop Boys, Hidden Cameras and Pet Shop Boys, Yellow in Spiral Carpets, Within Temptation, Madonna. Can't wait to hear it all, and I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for the next Records Roundup and my next record collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!